Hey everybody, welcome to another Arkham Horror the Card Game list video. We're at this old overlay that we haven't used in forever because this is a single card video. This is a group list that we put together, and it's the eight most interesting investigators to build. This can include both like their style and then also like the ones that have the most different deck varieties. Because as an example, Travis was just saying before we started recording, someone like Mark Harrigan is really easy. You punch people, you shoot people, you fight. Someone like even Calvin, he's also
Calvin only has one deck.
Yeah, which is just like don't die dot deck, and like
take damage, but not too much.
Yeah, so like these are like the ones that like
just a little bit.
Not like complicated, but like there's just the most variety you can do with them. So why don't we dive right in with number 8. This is in no particular order, by the way. I just put them next to numbers. So
no, this is the exact order.
Oh crap. Agnes Baker.
Cool. So she's neat because Survivor is like a really strong
class.
Yeah. So Agnes Baker actually has like a lot. Her deck building itself pretty boring. It's like 5 of one color, 2 of another. It's pretty simple. But there's lots of neat things that you can build around, especially with the newest expansion, the Innsmouth Conspiracy. She has to play a whole bunch of cards, makes you reevaluate a whole bunch of cards that heal horror or that take horror as a cost for her ability. And one of the most prominent ones of those that plays extremely well with her, I think, is Spirit of Humanity, which opens up a ton of options for playing some of the red cards that care about blessings, like Ancient Covenant and Beloved. Plays well with the purple cards that care about curses, all the spells that go with that. Pairs well with Paradoxical Covenant. She's one of the best and most consistent users for that, I think. All of which are interesting archetypes. And then yeah, like she just has, like she's the mystic. She's got 5 brains. She's got 2 in her do stuff stats. You have to use the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Seeker, Survivor is like one of the nicest off classes to have, and like it just opens up so many things because like if you wanted, you could build a Dark Horse Agnes if you just wanted to do it.
Yeah, like she's got so many different things that you could build into her, and they would all be good.
Yeah. Also, people have said that we don't have the ability of the investigators on the screen, but they'll correct me if I'm wrong in this, but it's once per phase. If you take horror on Agnes, you get to deal damage to an enemy or location. So that's for reference what her ability is. Yeah. I think her with Spirit of Humanity is a little bit dirty. that seems fun. That seems like a good time.
You put the curses in if you're Armageddon, and then you get to heal, and then you take the damage, put the blessings in, and you hurt something. You're like,
Seems nice. It's just
no one heals themselves by hurting another. Agnes would like a word.
Yeah. Well, she heals herself in the interim. She hurts them by hurting herself.
It's
like,
part and parcel.
So yeah, and also like because she can really then take advantage of, like it's getting my brain moving, like she can take advantage of the Armageddon of the Eye of Chaos because she has an easy way to put curses in. And that also hurts enemies at the same times when you're doing that. It seems
just
sick.
get to kill all the rats, makes sense. She's a waitress.
Yeah.
She has 5 brains, so she you could get away with not playing Holy Rosary and play Token of Faith instead.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of options you can do with her.
That's only the Innsmouth Conspiracy stuff. There's tons of other. She does a lot of other archetypes as well.
Yeah. Also, her ability makes it like because it's not like locks it in where it's like Tony Morgan. You're going to be fighting enemies. This one
you fight
solve
enemies.
This puzzle of how you can take advantage of this ability.
Yeah, like you don't have to be doing that as your primary thing. If it just happens because you're getting resources off of Forbidden Knowledge or whatever while you're getting clues, like that's fine.
Heck yeah. Sweet. All right. Number 7 is Safina Rousseau.
She's the best purple investigator who's green.
Yep.
I think what makes her so interesting to obviously like green has a lot of cool things you can do, right? Like green is like very all over the place with the stuff they can do, and like purple also can do some things. But the fact that she gets a whole big collection of hands, like in her cards in her hand, means at the start that you can like
so many hands.
You have a chance of you have a chance of actually like getting the weird thing you want your deck to do. Like why you chose her for double because you see so many more cards at the beginning.
Yeah, I've built 5 different Safina decks, and they've all been different.
I picked double because she wants to play the events, and double plays the events.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Next on the block is definitely not Rudy 2D point and shooty Safina, because that would be terrible. Sharpshooter is not a good card.
Yeah.
And you should not build around it, but you could.
I do really like with her deck building how you get to kind of pick between doing foot stuff or brain stuff, and they're both very viable. You can use the economy from you can use supplement the foot stuff with purple protection-y stuff, and then you can supplement, if you choose to go the brain route, you can supplement that with green economy. There's lots of neat options for her for her deck building.
You can play full on just green events. You could play a weird Smobile Spells Matter pile. You can
turn through your
a big part of what makes her interesting to build for is the fact that your offensive stats are both 2, which means that no matter what you're doing,
same thing.
You're doing something weird.
Yeah.
Agnes, imagine
no matter what, because otherwise you're not contributing to the game.
Yeah.
What kind of trait does the Stars Array have? It's an insight?
The Stars are right. The Painted World is a spell.
Yeah, it spells one bit. You can use your Arcana shit to dig that out.
Yeah, right. Arcana Initiate can find it. You can use the purple play a spell 3 or less to play it.
Uncage the Soul.
You can even use Uncage the Soul to play it as a copy of a card underneath her that is not a spell, because at the point in time that the game checks, it is a spell because it's in your hand and not being played. But then once it is being played, it is a copy of the other thing and no longer a spell, but it still costs 3 less. There's all kinds of cool shit she can be made to do.
And this isn't even mentioning your every tarot card deck.
Yeah, she's really good with tarot cards because 13 cards in your opening hand, you're gonna find your tarot cards.
Yeah. Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, with the Painted World, you can also do some rather silly things like. I'm playing combat oriented, but my combat is Storm of Spirits and Knife Hands. And that's what I'm trying to do. Is just play those as many times as possible. You could even try to play Easy Mark, 5 times off one Easy Mark, because the Painted World can be that if you've got one underneath you.
Okay, you only get 4.
Sure, you'd have to waste an action. And you can't do that in the middle of resolving another effect. You're right, 4 times.
That's still one more than 3.
Yeah, it is one more than 3.
No, it's 5. It's 5 times because you get 3 Painted Worlds and 3 Easy Marks. So 1 Easy Mark underneath you, and then you have 3 Painted Worlds remaining.
So you can play a Painted World and then be like, this other Painted World is actually Easy Mark. I'll play it off my Easy Mark. That sounds wrong to me, but
it also seems like one of the weakest things that you could feasibly do with the Painted World. But
yeah,
you could try.
I'm sure someone in the comments will know.
Yeah,
they always do.
Yeah.
You guys are like ancient monks who guide us.
She just gets to do a lot of cool stuff.
We definitely don't.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who number 6 is. It is Joe Diamond. Wow, the stats have switched. The game has changed.
Wow.
So he has a hunch deck, which is already pretty unique. Obviously, he's the only one who has it. But in terms of game mechanic, it is very different than anyone else. So what cards go in your hunch deck is already a giant thing for how you can determine how you want to build. What else do you guys got for him? Oh my god, look at this recent Revolstigator. Joe Diamond Revolstigator.
So Joe Diamond's in a unique position for sort of Seekers, where he can pick whether he wants to actually be a combat-oriented character, or he wants to get clues, or if he wants to do a mixture of both. The other investigator, and he gets kind of the best of both worlds, playing the yellow and blue cards. The other investigator who gets that color combination is Roland, who, because of his ability, is kind of locked into being combat-oriented. Joe Diamond's got a lot of really neat things. Again, you can look at the combat stuff for blue and use yellow cards, Encyclopedia, I guess.
to like boost up your punch skill, make it a little bit more attractive than the 4, and to dig out your weapons. And then you can play, obviously you can just play like a basic bitch seeker and just go around and get all the clues as you do. You can play, what's it called? Right, you can play like sort of I forgot what it was, but I thought something else to say instead. You can play like a really insight-oriented deck with him. There's there's a ton of insights in not just yellow but also blue. All of which play very well with Joe. Yeah. His deck building is just like surprisingly flexible from what you think it is. The 2 brain, the 2 foot suck, but like they're mitigatable.
Yeah. That's just like something you have to be aware of.
You can play your 2 magnifying glasses, and then the game's like, what are you gonna do when this monster shows up? And you're like, guns. And the game's like, what do you mean? And you're like, I can see, I can fight.
Yeah.
And it might not work because your numbers aren't like super high if you're running this like sort of middle of the road build, but like it might work.
I still want to play Joe. I haven't played him. Maybe I'll play him soon.
Trademark.
Guys, I'll just be like the weird support guy.
I do everything, but not that good.
Yeah.
But not very good.
I'm like a survivor without the cards to help out with that.
I'm like a survivor, only I just die when the game asks me to.
And then I'll join in on my favorite thing. Both of you playing Joe, you're always just like mad at your hunch deck. You were like, what? No, it's garbage. My hunch is horrible.
Yeah, but if your hunches were always right, they wouldn't be hunches, would they?
It's true. It's true. All right, we got number 5, which is Dexter Drake, the magician.
The magician.
All right, Brent, I'll pass this one to you.
I mean, like, so you just get to turn things into other things. It doesn't matter what kind of things. You get to decide. Any sort of thing. You want to turn a flask of liquor into a man who studies the end times, and then turn that into a spell that makes things small and crappy, and then turn that into like Molly Maxwell, the Magnificent Morgana, because you could.
You could.
One time a turn. One time a turn.
Dexter's all about what you could do.
Yeah. He does have an alternate set of cards as well, like personal weakness and thing that Molly Maxwell is from. But his even his base ones, like, you get showmanship, which makes you real good at activating items or activating assets, but only if they came into play this turn. So, turning your Shriveling into an Armageddon, because it has to have a different name. You can't be like, look at my magic trick, I turned a Shriveling into a Shriveling.
Yeah,
that's not magic.
Yeah, someone
that's
just stand in the back
you
and
didn't do
like,
anything.
Boo, you!
Yeah, but it makes these kinds of things more interesting, and then suddenly all the items in the game, all the assets in the game, sort of like, what could I do with this? What could I turn? What could I turn this into? I could use a switchblade to play a different thing, as though it were fast, and just, it cost me an extra card.
He's also like the first. I mean, like, people are going to say Marie Lambeau, but like, he's the first mystic that can play in the Doom archetype in such a way that he can really go balls to the wall with it.
Yeah.
Because like Marie is more about like putting Doom on something and then taking advantage of the free action until you don't need it anymore and getting rid of it. But Dexter Drake can just like make the Doom disappear easily.
Yeah, Maria is like a payoff for it, but Dexter is more of an enabler for the archetype.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can just discard your things whenever you want. Mm-hmm. Well, not whenever you want. You have to have a different thing to turn it into. You can't just be like, get in the box and then cut the box in half and everyone be like,
yeah, there's no box.
Oh.
There's no box.
Yeah.
Start screaming, it's just part of the show.
yeah. You can't do that. But yeah, like you can make all kinds of things work. And you got 3 punch, which is entirely serviceable if you want to play like some sort of Weirdsmobile green firearm build.
Cool.
Where you like you're just like, oh no, the gun's empty, and they're like, haha, you got no more bullets, and you're like,
it's like in like the Prestige where there's the gun trick where they just shoot them. Yeah, you're the gun magician.
And play 25 on Mac alongside like Miss Aurelia.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's
Or
right.
Ineffable Truth.
Yeah.
for extra damage. You can like get good use out of Enchanted Blade, the purple one.
Yeah,
You
3
can play
punch is good
Spirit
for that.
Game is probably pretty sick for him.
The sword cane is, I don't want to say the coolest thing in the world or the best thing since sliced cheese, but
it's pretty tasty on bread.
it's pretty all right. Yeah, it's pretty all right. You get to make it fast, and then when you put it into play fast, you get to do the thing for free, and then you can just turn it into something else.
I think what works really well too is just like Dexter feels very dynamic. You're constantly changing, so
Yeah.
like your deck can like do a bunch of things.
Yeah, your board will look very different from one turn to the next, or can look very different. Like obviously you can build whatever the hell you want, but
Yeah.
Lots of options.
yeah, you're never locked into like doing the thing you were doing 2 turns ago.
And then sometimes Dexter Drake just transforms into Kelvin, and that's just
I was gonna say how funny it would be if we just it's Dexter Drake surprise Dexter Calvin.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Just every
That
time.
would have been good.
Yeah.
No, but he just has like a crazy amount of options. I don't think there's any assets in the game that are like he's allowed to play that are bad in his deck.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could find one.
Number 4,
With enough work.
Trench coat.
Mandy Thompson.
And you flip the coat over, and underneath the coat, it's a different thing.
You had to pay for the coat in the first place.
Yeah, but you only have to pay 2.
Yeah.
You don't get anything.
What are you talking about? You get a magic trick. So Mandy Thompson, what makes her is interesting is she has a variable deck size that she can choose. She can choose different off-class. She has that variety that like Tony and Gloria do. Their game plans are a little bit more like focused, right? Like Gloria says, interact with the Mythos deck. Tony says, interact with monsters. But Mandy says, do whatever you want to do and be sick while you're doing it, because you're just going to search your deck and find more of it while it's happening.
And I like her because she's probably the strongest toolbox investigator.
Yeah, definitely.
Where you can tailor your deck to what you want to do, not just with your secondary class, but also like with the variety of yellow, untranslated, whatever things. And then her ability makes it super easy to find them when you need them.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like, you also can, like, we've talked about it a bunch, but no one's done it yet, but like the heavy support Mandy where your searches go to other players, right? And then you just grab clues when you're not supporting your team. You yourself aren't doing anything broken, right? But you're helping your teammates be the best them they can be.
No, it's good. It's good. It's a modification to the title of a previous one.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Yeah, you can play that. You can play like just I get clues Mandy. You can play like a research Mandy where you try to put together the pendant. You can play. I was talking about this earlier today. Fighter Mandy, where you might think she doesn't fight with her damage Mandy. Don't do a lot of damage with 1 punch, but you know what does do damage? Strange Loose, Acidic Ichor, or Ancient Stone, Knowledge of the Elders, or like just Blood Rite.
Yeah.
And finding it very consistently.
Yep. Yeah, and there was also like the 3 aces Mandy that you could do too. Like she's the reason why,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
like
kind of sad.
it is.
You know what actually be really so like this is why this might actually be interesting is because I'm the one bringing it up. It's a versatile Mandy deck where you play Arcane and shit because she gets to look at like 6 cards instead to dig out all the cool yellow and purple spells.
Yeah, yeah.
Play Arcane Initiates, and then literally every other card in your deck is a spell, so you just look at 3 and take 2 of them.
That'd be cool. Yeah, all kinds of neat stuff you can do with Mandy.
Yeah, she's
I normally don't bring up versatile because I think it's stupid and bad, but
well, Mandy, it makes sense because you can get through your deck.
who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's fun too. Just grabbing 2 cards on a search just feels nice and helps your deck do what you want to do, and it can be many, many different things.
I kind of hate that she's so good because she's so fun.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like when you pull out a Mandy deck and everyone looks at you at the table like you're like a tryhard over here.
You're
I
you're
honestly,
one of them, aren't you?
It's in our Forgotten
No,
Age
like,
one. I just feel like I'm like you guys are just watching me like search through my deck for things, and I'm like, well, you guys are having a conversation about something completely different. And I'm like,
At the same time, we have one friend who like we play video games with, and we played one play. So it's like, man, those guys are such tryhards, and we're like,
Are you not trying?
Yeah, are you not trying to win
exactly, you play to win. Yeah, but like she is good and she is fun, and like I'm excited to do the support Mandy. I very much want to be there for you guys, get the fun stuff going.
Love having your support, Jess.
Yes! That's all I want to hear. I just start crying. Can you imagine? Thank you. You guys are like, all right, we're going to go.
All right, see ya.
Bye. I think I'm busy next Wednesday. Carolyn Fern. Travis, I'll pass this one to you.
So Carolyn is neat because she has some really wild deck building where she can play Guardian 0 to 3, up to 15 Seeker and or Mystic cards, level 0. Might be 0 to 1, I don't remember exactly. Can you look that up for me real quick? She can play neutral 0 to 5.
It's 0 to 1.
0 to 1?
Yeah, the purple and yellow cards are 0 to 1.
Okay.
I am like 95% sure. If I'm wrong, YouTube, feel free to make fun of me. I won't read it.
Okay. No, it makes sense. I remember playing Upgrade Magnify glasses.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can play 0 to 1.
And then she also gets cards that heal horror 0 to 5, which includes some really wild stuff, like
It just says, Justin, you're an idiot.
some real wild stuff like Deny Existence level 5 and Cheat Death. And yeah, so like Carolyn, because of her weird deck building restrictions, you also can't play weapons that are higher than level 0. But because of her weird deck building restrictions, she's best as like a support, but she can play a lot of other roles as well.
Yeah.
She benefits from horror healing, but like that doesn't need to be a large part of your game plan. She makes an excellent cleaver. She can do a really gimmicky combat deck with like Me Cleaver and Pete Sylvester if you want.
Ooh, that's the other deck that that thing we were talking about, the Keen Sense level 0 could be good in, because you'll have a shitload of money.
You're not wrong. She can have be just like a really strong defensive investigator who can even cast spells if that's what you're into. Playing like Pete Sylvester level 2 for the brain, the foot, like Holy Rosary for the brain, or St. Hubert's Key is some of your purple cards, and then playing purple spells.
St. Hubert's Key doesn't count as one of your purple cards because when you're defeated,
heals.
it
You're
heals
right.
you for 2 horror. Yeah, it's like if you're trying to build a Carolyn Fern deck on Arkham DB and it tells you that your deck is wrong, count yourself.
Yeah, just do it. Don't use Arkham DB.
Don't trust anything they have to say. It's like real weird and hard to code, and I get it.
Yeah, I sympathize with it, but
yeah,
I would love more deck building that's kind of a bit more abstract like that.
Yeah.
And like the Carolyn you built when we did, I think it was the one collection where you just didn't move. You just safeguarded and got clues.
Carry me.
Like, she's a good cleaver. She has access. She'll get to 5 book, no problem, and then like she just goes. She just.
It's easy. It gets like 6 or even 7, right?
Yeah.
1 or 2 like magnifying glass, Hawkeye folding camera, St. Hubert's Key.
Yeah.
She's also usually rolling around in money, which means that you can play all kinds of events that do damage.
Yeah.
You might not be allowed weapons, but dynamite's fine. It's good. It's good.
So stuff like Storm of Spirits,
Yeah.
Shrivelings.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing I like best about Carolyn is like the pile of cards that you can play because they heal horror. It's like, is this really therapy? Like, are you really trying to help me, or are you just pouring whiskey into me right now?
Well, like quiet.
Like-
I'm killing this man with a meat cleaver. It helps me. Trust me.
If you don't stop, this is gonna be you next. Like, oh,
Running around with her university boyfriend,
Yeah.
waving the meat cleaver.
They're like, she
The
has
police show up
tenure.
and-
We can't touch her.
The police show up and they're like, "You're breaking the law." And she's like, "No, I'm not." And then she gets to break extra laws
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
yeah. I think my actual favorite one is like having kerosene, and they're just sort of like, I don't
Get around
I'm feeling,
the bonfire.
feeling a little anxious, and you're like, but she's like, well, what if we went and hit that guy with a cleaver and lit him on fire?
They're like,
That make you feel better?
no.
Like, not
Let's
really.
go. Come on. I'm your doctor. Trust
Get
me.
in, loser. We're doing it anyway.
Oh, it sounds like your family's caused you a lot of grief. Why don't you bring him into therapy next week?
Honestly, this gives me another list idea, which is like the most interesting investigators to build stories around, because it's something we've always done, and Carolyn's up there. She's just, come on, let's go. All right, let's go on to number 2, which I believe is a Bryn special.
Oh, it is.
So, the thing about this is Will Yorick's ability. He has a reaction effect that says after you defeat an enemy, you may play one asset from your discard pile, paying its cost once per round. So this means you can do all kinds of stupid things. You want to run around with like stray cats in a bandolier, like shooting them out of a crossbow at people? Like, sure, go for it, do it. Why not?
What card is the crossbow in this scenario?
Oh, the crossbow is just like probably like the shovel that he's carrying. Just like,
Yeah.
Okay, like a
yeah,
Those like
yeah,
Nerf
yeah.
ball things. in the ball.
yeah.
Just throwing cats,
It's a
throwing
cool
cats at
costume.
people.
Highlight, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to run around using mysterious ravens to drive yourself both crazy and discover clues at the same time. Sure, do it.
But don't worry, you can't go crazy because you got your teddy.
Can't go crazy. You got teddy bears. You can just keep pulling teddy bears out of the garbage. It's good. You feel better.
Yeah, just like in general, recursion leads to a lot of fun things
Yeah.
that you can do. And like Leo's very, I mean not Leo, sorry, Will. You have the other prince stuck in my head. Yorick is just like it's very like fair recursion because it has like
Yeah.
a big cost, but you can do gross things with it. Like I saw some people talking about like a favor of the sun Will Yorick, and I think that sounds
Yeah.
kind of fun. Like that
Yeah.
sounds a little juicy.
You keep your teammates alive with enchant armors.
Yeah, that's
forever.
just super sick.
That one was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
No, if you play him with something like a Brother Xavier, sure, it's real expensive, but you got blue and red cards. You could probably cobble together a pretty functional economy. And just run around and be like, well, nobody dies unless I say so, and if somebody dies, we're gonna get whoever killed him,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna bring Brother Xavier back. And
Yeah.
No, there's all kinds of fun, like monster killing and support builds. It suffers a little bit in the clue getting department, but you can still make it
Yeah.
work if you really try.
Yeah.
like if you
He
really
can like
want
provide
that,
his portion of the clues at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you might struggle to hit the same numbers as say a Seeker would, but you
Struggle is being generous, I think.
Yeah, you
No,
might,
I
you
mean,
might
like,
miss about
so-
one or two.
Yeah, like you can definitely get like a reasonable pile of clues in a single turn, where like you mysterious raven, and then you kill a guy, and then you play evidence, and then you bring your raven back, and you move to a new location because there's probably no clues where you used to be, and you fire the mysterious raven again, and you got Pete and your charisma because you probably want
And you got beat, and then because you got your
Hey,
charisma.
You also got Relic on it, because why wouldn't I have Relic on it?
Why not?
Teddy
Why not?
bears.
Yeah.
So funny.
2 teddy bears, but like yeah, you can assemble all kinds of very interesting machines where the only thing you need to make them work is the blood of your enemies.
Yeah, which flows quite freely, especially
yeah.
because like everyone's like, "Hey, come help me." I mean, I love watching Bryn play Will Yorick. It's like one of those things like when you just like when Travis plays Luke Robinson, or like when I play Silas. It's just like you see the person like in their zone, and you're like, they know what they're doing. Yeah, and there's just like nothing but confidence.
He is real good. I've definitely played games with him where I've engaged an elite enemy who is supposed to spawn and be trouble for the next 3 turns. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna hit him and he'll damage me back. I don't care.
know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're good.
You just
We're good.
so tanky.
Right? Like you can be incredibly beefy. You don't have to be.
You know, you have 3 brain, 3 foot.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you haven't upgraded Pete, you have 4 in your defensive stats as well as 4 in your punch.
Yeah, and
It's
also
like
like
kind of a good time.
honestly, like even just like that Will Yorick Pete, and then like you give him the Holy Rosary too, and then you're just
Yeah.
like, and then like the enchanted armor, and like no one dies. It's pretty impressive.
You get to do a lot of cool things with assets that shouldn't be good.
He does have a really nice stat line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah, his stat line is like what Lolo's could be if it didn't suck.
Lola's stat line isn't quite your problem, right?
All right, now we just spoiled the first person. Number 1 is Patrice Hathaway, the violinist. So, I love her stat line, man.
You want 4, you want 2.
Yeah.
Her stat line is like Lolo's, except it sucks.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
this is one of those things where, like, yes, her play style is what also makes her, like, interesting because you can do a lot of things, but, like, there's a lot of different builds you can take with Patrice because of how you, like, you're just, like, constantly adapting. Like, there was Travis, you did the Desperate build, which is, like, so very doable, right? Because, you're going to be seeing cards going through.
Man, she gets 2 less stat points than every other Veskier, huh?
Yeah.
She doesn't even get extra HP to make up for it.
No, we get to draw 5 cards every
But you
turn.
do get to draw 5 cards
a
every
turn.
turn.
Yeah.
It's a lot
You can
of
go
cards.
like I want to try a Patrice that's like, spoiler alert, Super Justin loves his support, but like a skill-focused one where it's just like, you're there to like, your hand is just there to help everyone else, and like you just get clues where you can. You get like a 6th Sense in play, and just like go nuts with that, right?
It's so liberating to play like the skill sort of oriented ones. It's similar to the desperate build I play. Cause someone's like, "Man, I'm doing this. I'm not sure if I'll do it." And you're like, "Yeah, here."
Yeah. This card literally means nothing to me.
Yeah, take it. I'm gonna throw it away after you're done your turn anyway.
Yep.
You can play like that. You can play the discard decks.
Yep.
You can play a spell oriented one and just use her as a way to like find the spells that you need.
Yep. She's also really good with the cats, like.
Yep.
Like, because, they'll be in their discard pile, and that's really nice. She also is, like, anytime you have an investigator that, like, can take advantage of quantum flux, you're like, okay, so, like, why is that good, right?
She gets you thinking a lot about, like, when to recur things and,
Yeah.
like, when using cards like Quantum Flux and U Catastrophe with her star effect to shuffle her discard back.
Yep. Yeah.
And also, like, your turns don't become... they ask a lot of different questions about you. Instead of being like, how can I get what I need, what needs to be done, you're like, how can I make these do something?
Yes. Yeah, how can I take the most advantage out of what I've been given this turn?
How can I do the most of what I have?
Yeah. Do you know what I would hate to do with Patrice? Player on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare.
It does sound like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Hey, I did that once. I played the
cat one.
Yeah, the cat one, yeah. It wasn't great.
Yeah. I'm trying. There was something else I wanted to say about her, but it's slipped from my
Definitely
brain.
wasn't the worst part of that play.
No, I think she's cool, and I think like obviously her stat line, it's tricky to work around. That's me putting it nicely. That's Travis speaking the true. But like,
It is just that.
just getting all the cards and being able to play like so reactive is kind of like a very different experience than what this game normally is. So it's like interesting to build decks for, and then also interesting to play because your deck is going to determine how you're going to play her.
Yeah, like to me, she is probably the most survivor,
Yeah,
where it's just, what can I do with what I have?
yeah.
Yeah, you're probably wondering why we didn't put Lola on this list. And the short answer is because Lola's not interesting to build for. She is frustrating to
Yeah.
build for.
Yeah.
The fact that when you look at Lola, people say put in a Shrewd analysis so you don't.
Yeah, so you don't have to play real cards.
Yeah, like
Get that garbage out of here.
she's like this weird like puzzle. She's not like actually fun.
No,
It's like a puzzle that like nips and like slices your
Yeah.
fingers when you're trying to do
It's
it.
a saw puzzle.
Yeah, but like when you're done, you don't get anything.
Nah, you just yeah.
You open it up and you're like, hey, it's a different functional investigator. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm Zoe
But-
Samras, but garbage.
Bryn, are you ever gonna bring her to a full campaign?
I like how you
my
specifically
legal
aspirin.
my legal counsel suggests that I don't answer that question.
Yeah, because I couldn't. I did like our old Lola
All I'm gonna
playthrough,
say
that was fun.
is that
It was
there's a
fun.
lot of new tarot cards coming out,
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
and I don't think that makes this any better.
But luckily on that one, you can be the support, and then like Travis and I can like do things. And then,
Yeah,
No,
like
don't worry, I'll
just
bring
tell
a
me
monster
that
fighting
you-
Lola. It's good. It's good.
Just tell me you're doing it so I can bring something like
Yeah.
good enough to carry a person's worth of dead weight.
could you imagine that we're like, hey, what are we gonna be? Travis is like, I'll be the Cleaver. It's like, okay, I'll be some. Like, Bryn's like, don't worry, I'll be the Monster Hunter. And then he just pulls out Lola, and we're like, no.
I have to audible
No.
into a Manny deck so I can do everything.
Yeah, Travis just pulls out his binder. Fuck. Oh, that'd be great. That would be a good
shit.
time. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. If this hasn't come out yet by the time, but we're going to be having probably actually I'll put it later in the schedule. But next Thursday, our list video should have a special guest joining us. I know I said that last week, but we recorded a second video tonight. You can see behind the curtain. It's just us sitting in a very small
Yeah.
room. Actually, I mean, this room is much bigger than the others.
Yeah, no, it's
is.
like pretty comfortable actually. I'm not like
Yeah,
smushed
the
up
other the
against
other
the-
one was much smaller.
Yeah, it's teeny
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah. Time works weird in YouTube though. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys very soon. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.